and welcome to another video produced by John Pearson for the Villages Theater Company. And in this video, we're going to tear into the ETC Color Source 40AV just a little bit more with kind of a bit on programming and how some of the selection tools work. And this is not necessarily for everybody, but this may be a job that you would be interested in taking a look at. So I'm going to put this back into playback mode, and you'll remember from previous videos what the colors represent on playback. And one of our objectives today is to make 35 a playback button. And I'm going to go back to the channels, and you'll notice 1 through 34 kind of have a tannish brown look to them, and that's because each of those have kind of been preset with color number 17. So what we want to show first are some ways with which you can select a fixture prior to making a change to it. So I'm going to go ahead and just click the number 1. And I clicked it in here, and that selected it. If I click it again, it unselects it. Just like if I click 2, 2 is selected. Unclick it, it's also selected. I can hit the 1 right here, and you'll notice that the green indicates it's also been selected. I can hit it another time, it goes away. Hit it third or 2, it'll do the same thing. So we've just learned 2 ways that you can select a particular fixture. You can either do it from the grid design, or you can click the button 1 time and it will select or deselect. And a third way is to move the slider. If we move the slider in any direction, it immediately selects that unit or that fixture. If I bring it back down, it immediately deselects it. Now let's talk about the clear button over here on the side. This is kind of an important one. And when it's red, it means there's something stuck in the memory. And just to be on the safe side, if you say clear all, that's not a bad place to kind of get back to square one if you ever feel like something's going wacko on you. So I went clear all, and it was red at that time, so it actually cleared something from the memory. That's really important when it comes to DMX and how it's sending DMX, so keep that in mind, that that's kind of a good tool for you. Okay, I should point out this little grid line right here, or grid button. That grid button always gets us back to this design, and this is a good place that I'll call like the home button. Alright, now remember, our objective here is we're going to learn how to get 35 to do something magical for us. So I'm on the channel setting, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the skills we just learned, and I'm going to select channel number 1, and I'm going to select channel number 16. And you'll see there's 2 different ways we could have done that. And I'm going to click the little color button down here, and I am going to pick palette position, let's make it 31. And you can see that those buttons turned kind of a bluish color. Let me go ahead and bring these sliders up, and you'll see that in the model above they take on a bluish hue. And I'll bring those back down again. And as soon as I bring them back down again, you'll notice they're deselected. Now, there are other ways we could have deselected them, but there's a reason why I want to deselect them now. Next, I'm going to select 2, and I'm going to select 15, and I'm going to make those palette number 28. And we'll bring those sliders up so we can see that they take on, it's kind of hard to see what that color represents. Kind of a pinkish color, and you can see it again on here. And when I bring those back down, you'll see a little hue change down here. You know what, I'm going to make those a different color. Let's go to 2 and 15 so they become more obvious. I'm going to make those, let's make them bright yellow. Okay, there we go. And now we'll deselect them, and now we've changed colors on 4 fixtures. And I'm going to change color on a few more here, but I'm going to do a couple of them in order. So let's go 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's make those all orange. Now we'll deselect 3, 4, 5, and 6, and let's select 14, 13, 12, and 11, and let's make those kind of a rosy color. And we're going to deselect those, and this time I'm just going to do it down here. Deselect, 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 deselect. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to go to 7 and 10. Let's make 7 and 10 bright blue, and let's make 8 and 9. Let's make those kind of just a wash color. Oh, messed up. I forgot to deselect 7 and 10. So let's go back to 7 and 10. And we were going to make that a bluish color. Okay, so what we've done is we have selected 1 through 16 and just given them some different colors. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to select 1 through 16, but this time I'm just going to do it through the sliders. And I'm going to bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, 6 up. Now let's go over to this side and work backwards. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, and 11. All right, so we've now got some intensity going, and I'll drop this down so you can see this. Very wild color scheme, but it's utilizing right now 12 of our fixtures. Bring this back up, and what I want to do is I want to do what's called record edit. Now if you watch carefully, I've got that set and I've got 12 of the fixtures doing something actively, and even though 7, 8, 9, and 10 are down, they're not going to do anything in this scheme. You'll see right here a little picture of what each is doing, and I'm going to click record edit, and what I want to do at this point is touch the 35 button. Boom. And when I touch the 35 button, that will now record that particular settings. So let me bring them all back down again. And this is under the channel mode, and I'm going to click the playback mode. Now if you're very observant here, you will see that 35 now has purple color, and that purple color is now stored in memory, which is what we just did. Let's bring up slider number 35. Hey, it worked. And now slider number 35 remembers that set of commands that I gave it, and every time we bring slider number 35 up to full, we're at 100%. We can bring it down here and we're at less. But again, it's just changing the intensity of that. So to review, our objective today was to talk a little bit about how to select channels, how to select fixtures, how to change their hue, and last but not least, how to program a series of those fixtures into a bump key or a playback button, and that was button number 35. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.